Hey, everybody, welcome to Secure the Seat Live. I am your host, Minda Harts, and I'm so excited that you're here with us today because you could be anywhere on the internet, anywhere outside, and you're here with us. So happy Black History Month. Thank you again for joining us. If it's your first time with us, welcome. You're already part of the squad. If you've been rocking with us every Monday, you know you're part of the family. So thank you for showing up. Listen, this isn't just about me talking with our guests and Mike giving affirmations. This is about you also getting what you need and using the chat to connect with each other. So make sure if you want to connect with people, most of you are watching us on LinkedIn. So drop your profile in the chat if you feel comfortable and people can follow each other. But if you do try to make a connection with someone, at least put secure the seat so people don't think you're being weird. Okay. So tell them why you're connecting with them. And so that's always helpful. But let's leverage the power that we have right here and community. And you never know how we might be able to help each other down the road. And lastly, there's a lot of layoffs going on across industries. And I just want to say, if you've experienced it, we're praying for you. Don't count yourself out. You are still an asset. Okay. Your blessing is on the way. Definitely, take this time to think about what you want next, right? Because this may be an opportunity for you to say, hey, I've been wanting to get into coding, or I've been wanting to go into something else. And so, definitely leverage this, because this is your your Jordan year 2023. Okay. And I have a special guest today because we're going to talk about what it means to say yes to me in 23. And so I hope that if you are experiencing, furloughs or layoffs, or you're unemployed right now, or even if you're employed, that you will learn this year to say yes to you and what that means. And so I'm excited for my guest. I have known Dr. Angela for many years. She supported me on my journey, and I just have so much love for her. And she drops gems after gems after gems. So if you're not following her on social media, please do. Definitely follow her on LinkedIn, and we'll make sure we drop her information. But go follow her on Instagram too, because she be dropping all the gems. I finally found my tambourine again, so I was like, I gotta have it for Dr. Angela, because I know I'm gonna need to use it. So I don't know where. Like I told you, I think Boston had ran off with it. But without further ado, we're gonna bring Dr. Angela to the stage so that we could just get into today's conversation. Let us know in the chat. Put your ones up if you're ready to have a good old conversation. Let's do it. Hi, Dr. Angela.
Hi, Minda. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Wonderful. I listened to the introduction and I said, wait a minute, we have amens and tambourines. This is going to be awesome.
This is how we do it here. we sit at many intersections.
Yes. Balance.
Yes. So happy that you're here. Tell our viewers, our squad, a little bit more about you, Dr. Angela, so they can just get a little sample of who you are.
Sure. So first, I'm so excited to have this conversation. As you said, we've known each other for many years, and we finally made this happen. So we all have several titles, right? But the one that's most important to me is God's daughter. And so other than that, I am an author, I'm a coach, I'm internationally certified as a speaker, I'm a mom of two, I'm a wife, just really trying to be on my divine assignment. That's who I am. So I'm really excited about today's conversation. It was a life lesson that I learned at pretty high cost. And so I'm hoping that the conversation will prevent that from happening to someone else today. We're serving.
That part, that's what we get to do here on Mondays. We get to serve. So let's jump right into it. Today, we're going to discuss Yes to Me in 23. Dr. Angela, tell us how you came up with your Yes to Me acronym and how our community can start activating that right today, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us on the replay. I want everybody to learn how to say yes to you.
Yes, so it's critically important. I call June 2nd, 2021 my Superwoman wake-up call. I had a regular day that day. I was up for work, taking meetings, and experienced this pain literally out of nowhere. I couldn't explain. Well, after a few more experiences and a few days later, I discovered or was told that I had a pulmonary embolism, no previous medical condition. And so when you go through an experience like that, It forces you to really prioritize what's most important. And so over the course of the time since that experience, it's been a little bit easier to say yes to me because I was put in a position where I had to. But I share that story because for those who've not had to experience something like that, I want them to start today prioritizing themselves. And then once you do it, it really becomes a habit.
Listen, I hope you understand what she just said. When you say yes to me, it becomes a habit. Well, let me just go ahead and get the tambourine out right now. Because some of us need better habits, right? We need to make saying yes to us a hobby. Okay. We need to learn how to do that. And I'm so glad that first of all, I'm so glad that you're here with us to share that story, because I know that not everybody gets to come through and have an ending like yours, right? And so I'm just thankful to God that you're able to share that you're saying yes to you because we need you. And I'm just curious, Dr. Angela, there's a lot who are probably resonating with that. Maybe they've had a healthcare scare or something's gone on to say, woof, let me sit down for a second and think about what needs to happen next. For what roadblocks do you think get in the way as people start to prioritize their wellness and mental health? Because a few months after, it's easy to say yes to me, right? But when things start happening and the children are doing this and somebody's doing that, how do they practice? It's good in theory, right? But where's the practice?
So it's a decision, right? It's like a decision that we make with anything else. So one of the things that I started to do was I put myself on the calendar, just like I do anything else. And I plan ahead to give myself those moments. But sometimes it's just as simple as doing something that I call a mindful minute. And it's literally taking 1 minute to stop and just close my eyes and be still and quiet, just to reset and refocus. Those are the quick things that you can do to reset your energy. But some of the things that get in the way, of course, are competing priorities. Sometimes it's the resistance of those in your life who aren't accustomed to you putting yourself first. Sometimes it's just creating the time and space. But all of those require a decision to do something different.
And we all, many, Dr. Angela, are watching us, live here on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And I know that they're thinking, I need a mindful minute. Is that what you called it?
Yeah.
And write that down, everybody, just because sometimes not sometimes, all the time, we need to prioritize us. So we all get that 24 hours in the day if we're blessed enough. And what would a minute out of those 24 hours look like for you? Dr. Angela I have a therapist, and when I talk to her, she specializes in trauma responses. So some of the things that go through, you go through, how does your body respond to them, right? Not just your mind. And one of the things that she says when I'm having like a high intense moment or just something that's, causing whatever, is to do this with your hands, like a hand washing technique, just to, I guess there's something in your hands that's like soothing. And so listen, give yourself a minute, even if it's chilling, even if it's just washing your hands, if it's closing your eyes. But don't you think you deserve 1 minute out the day for you? Anything you want to add, Dr. Angela?
Yes. No, I love that. And that hand motion just slows you down, right? And so it doesn't take much. I think sometimes when we hear the catchphrase self-care, people see the Instagram self-care, which is the vacations and the manis and the petties, and just simplify it a bit. Just prioritize your time. You give it to everyone else. And so what happens is the people in your life come to know that that's part of your routine, and they adopt it. So now, before I go into meetings, even at work, everybody's saying, are we going to have our mindful minute? They look for it now because it just helps you reset your brain, pause, and get prepared for what's coming next. So that's an easy one.
I love that. And what I love about that is practical, right? We don't have to leave the house. We don't have to go to
plan.
Some of you might have to go stand in the closet to get away from some things, but give yourself a minute. You deserve that.
Yes.
If this is resonating with you, please put a 1 in the chat, because I hope today, if you haven't given yourself that after the broadcast, that you will give yourself a mindful minute, that you will think about what saying yes to you, yes to me means. And you also have this really great book, and we're going to drop the link in the chat so people can get it. Now what? Get over yourself and move. Talk to the people who started 2023 on a high note and they are already feeling stuck. They're like, I can't move, Dr. Angela.
They're like, January was a trial. I'm ready to get started. Well, no, the first thing I would say is that that's okay, right? Sometimes when we get started with something, we get really excited. We have lots of momentum, and then we hit a plateau earlier than we think we should. Well, that's you putting those limitations on yourself, right? And so all of us have been in that space where something may happen that we didn't expect, or things didn't necessarily go as we planned, or we had to adjust. And so just recognize what you're feeling in that moment, and then refocus. Okay, what was my goal? What was it I wanted to accomplish? Then recommit yourself to the goal. And then last, just restart. You had to start last month, so just start again.
That part, okay. Recommit to yourself, recommit to me. Don't beat yourself up about feeling stuck. January didn't do what January is supposed to do. We're in a new month. Okay. Dr. Angela said, restart and we move, right? Again, we could talk about all the things, but part of securing your seat is first making sure that you are right within, making sure that your mind is right, because you've heard the saying a million times, you can't pour from an empty cup, and it's very true. It's very hard. You can do it. It's very hard, right, Dr. Angela?
You can do it, but you can't do it long. And here's the thing, with our minds, the busier we become, it's easy for us to compartmentalize in our minds, but we can never lie to our bodies. And so the story will be told, and it's whether you want to acknowledge it or not. You don't want it to become physical. So just be honest with yourself. I say, me, don't lie to me. Tell the truth, because that's ultimately what's going to get you to where you want to go. And you're not the only person to feel like that.
Absolutely. Listen, don't lie to yourself. We don't know who you might be lying to day to day, but don't lie to you. Okay. Be honest with yourself, because I like what you said, Dr. Angela. The body doesn't lie. The body, it knows when we're experiencing these things. It sometimes manifests in other different ways. So it's so important that we do that. And I'm so happy that you were able to share with us how important it is to say yes to me, because we have a lot of year left, right? We have a lot of months left. Okay.
Yes,
so
we do.
Our bodies need us, our minds need us to say yes. We need to put ourselves on the calendar. You gave us so many practical tips that we could just start implementing today, right? You don't need money to do the things that we talked about. These are things that you can just start doing today. And I'm just so glad. I could talk to you all day long. We drop in Dr. Angela's information in the chat. You can connect with her, hire her. She's a phenomenal speaker, as you know. Buy her book. Again, we'll drop all those things in the chat. And Dr. Angela, now we've come to the bonus round, and I'm a lover of grits and rap lyrics. How do you like your grits, Dr. Angela?
Okay, so I think I know your answer. You may not necessarily like mine. I don't like grits.
Well, it does break my heart that you don't like grits. But I would prefer you tell me that you don't eat grits than tell me that you eat grits with sugar. And I know you're in the South, so I hope that maybe one day we will have breakfast and you'll take me to a good grits place. And what do you like to have then? I have to ask, what is like your favorite food?
If there is something that's comparable, I guess I would say I do like rice.
Okay.
So I'll have that sometimes. But I'm sorry to tell you, I do like butter and sugar in my rice.
Okay. You know what? That's okay. I can take that answer. I like salt and butter in my grits, but on my rice, I actually sometimes like sugar on my rice, but I love butter and salt on my rice too. And my body's telling me the older I get, you better stop it with that salt, girl.
Yeah. Slow
down. Say yes to longevity, less to life. But I love that. Thank you for that. And with a good bowl of grits or rice is a good rap lyric. What is one of your favorite rap lyrics in life?
Okay, so I love this question, first of all. And I said, I'm a woman of a certain age, so I'm going to go classic with this one. 1990. This song, this artist got his first Grammy for it, and it's Mama Said Knock You Out. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear. I love that. But then he goes on to say, I'm going to take this itty bitty world by storm. And I'm just getting warm. And so that lyric reminds me that as much as we think we've accomplished, there's still so much more that we can contribute to the world. So that's mine.
I love that. When you said I'm just getting warm, I got like chills. I'm like, I love that. That's such a great lyric. And now I'm gonna have to go and listen to that song because there's a lot of richness in that, and somebody needed to hear that you're just getting warm. You're not a one-trick pony. You got more to give. And so I love that so much. Dr. Angela, all of our viewers are leaders, in my opinion. They don't have to wait for their manager to give them a performance review or a title on their email signature. They can do it right now. What is one thing our leaders can do to make the workplace better than they found it?
So this is an easy one, and it doesn't take much. Just remember that you are a human, and so are the people that you work with, but they are whole humans. They are more than just their roles, more than just the seat that they sit in. They bring entire experiences into the workplace. And so lead with empathy, listen and lead with your heart. You will be able to influence people in a way that goes far beyond any one assignment if you do that.
You got your orders. There's nothing left to say. Mic drop. I love all of that. You've dropped so many great gems. Dr. Angela, where's the best place for people to connect with you?
So first, thank you for having me. This has been amazing. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Dr. Angela Anderson. Minda mentioned one of my personal passions, which is Instagram, and that is at Dr. Angela Speaks. So those are the two best places.
Yes, make sure that you follow her on both places. Definitely IG too, if you're an IG person, because Dr. Angela has some really great, she be dropping all kinds of gems. So make sure, practical things that are feed your soul. And so make sure that you do that. And Dr. Angela, thank you for how you show up in this world. Thank you for sharing your story and saying yes to you, because I know your family wants you and needs you, but we need you too, because you have so much, you're just getting warm. And so I'm glad that you're saying yes to you and reminding us how important it is to say yes to us, ourselves, even if it's just for a minute a day, right? Saying yes to ourselves and putting ourselves on the calendar is so important. So thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. I loved it. Thank you for having me. All
right. See you soon. Wow, that was such a great episode. I don't know about you, but I really want to say yes to me. I really want to say yes to me. It's so important to do that. And I think that sometimes it sounds so cliche for people because we've used the term so much, self-care, but self-care really is, it should be a lifestyle, right? And taking care of us and prioritizing ourselves. And it could be the trips, but it could just be, like I said, hand washing. It could be taking a minute. It could be breathing in and out. It could be listening to, if you love praise and worship music, right? It could be, if you like rap music, whatever it is, jazz, just giving yourself that favorite song. But I hope that you'll do something for yourself. The homework for this week is say yes to you today, this week. See what it looks like. Let it form as a habit, right? And once you start to demonstrate that, the people in your life will know, oh, Minda's prioritizing herself. That becomes a standard. That becomes the bar, right, for others. And so I just love that so much. We're at the end of our show. We're going to do our affirmation. Again, this is Black History Month. We celebrate it every year, but we celebrate it here every day, okay? Because Black excellence is every single day. And so I hope that you're doing something to celebrate. You want to do something to honor Black History Month, purchase Dr. Angela's book. Make sure that you do that. But I'm going to bring Mike to the stage. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Minda, how are you?
Good. Great show, right?
Amazing show. A lot of insight, a lot of wisdom. Awesome.
Are you going to say yes to me in 23?
I got to do it. I'm motivated. I'm ready. I got to say yes to me.
Okay, I hope so. Let's help each other, okay?
know, right?
What's February's affirmation?
Yeah, so our affirmation this month is mistakes are not our final destination. I think a lot of times in life we forget there's people who've moved on from mistakes that have done way worse than us, and they sleep well at night, they're doing fine, but we beat ourselves up. We get mad at ourselves. We hold ourselves at this this standard that we can't keep up. We make one mistake and we're just on ourselves. We have to learn to move on from our mistakes. Forgiveness of yourself is one of the highest forms of forgiveness. You can forgive everyone. You can forgive people in your family, people that you're dating, people you're married to, friends, siblings, loved ones. But once you learn to forgive yourself and move on from your mistakes, there's a freedom that comes over you. There's a peace that comes over you. There's a joy that comes over your heart that you just can't explain. So make sure you forgive yourself and move on. Get the help you need. If you need to talk to someone, if you need to vent, if you need a therapist, a pastor, someone to talk to, make sure you get it out of you, because 2023 is definitely your year. Mistakes are not your final destination, y'all.
Yes, tampering moment. Listen, you know, they say the saying, I don't know who needs to hear this, but we all need to hear this today. Tag somebody in the chat on LinkedIn, or share this episode when it ends. You're going to find the replay on YouTube. Mistakes are not your final destination. Okay. Sometimes many of us are still living in our mistakes. We're living in our mistakes. We can't set ourselves free, but you have the power to do that. Right now, we're not saying you cheated on your spouse 100 times. Mistakes is not your, okay. There's some accountability. That's not what we're talking about. But what about you messed up on the Excel spreadsheet? You forgot to do, maybe you picked up your child 5 minutes late, but you never do that, right? You know, you had 100 things going on and you just couldn't do dinner for the family. Everybody wanted you to make your famous pizza, but today you couldn't because you said yes to me and I got to wait till Wednesday. Whatever it is, forgive yourself and allow yourself to be free. It's not your mistake. You know, somebody you work with, they only drink almond milk, but you brought the regular milk. You know, yes, you're not trying to kill them. You just made a mistake, right? But you don't have to keep playing that on a loop in your head over and over and over. You know, I'm being a little facetious, but sometimes the smallest things that we do, we will hold ourselves captive and we won't allow. And like Mike said, we will forgive people 101 times for the smallest or the biggest things, but we won't even give ourselves that same grace in that same space. And so I hope as you're prioritizing you that you'll forgive yourself and realize we all make mistakes. We're all human. This life is complicated, right? But as long as we're not hurting ourselves and hurting others, we deserve that opportunity to move forward. Mike, do you want to finish off with anything?
Absolutely, Minda. Those are some amazing points. And I just want to point out the fact that this idea of self-punishment isn't as freeing as you tell yourself. It's not as healing as you tell yourself. Let me just punish myself. It's really I need to teach myself a lesson. Didn't nobody ask you to teach yourself a lesson? No one asked you. This idea of punishing yourself over and over and over, and it doesn't even motivate you half the time. It puts you in a level of guilt and shame. The lowest vibrations are guilt and shame. And we have to get out of this and forgive ourselves and move into our new season. Yesterday is done and gone. So you can either get healed from it and talk about it, or you can keep going backwards and backwards and backwards. And I promise you, it's not as freeing as your mind is telling you. Mistakes are not your final destination.
Mistakes are not your final destination. One last thing I have to say while you said that is, listen, forgive yourself, but there may be someone that comes along this week and they might try to remind you that it is your final destination. Okay. But we do not take hold of someone else's narrative for us, right? Saying yes to me is understanding that I deserve humanity, dignity, and respect for myself, right? So when someone comes to try to bang you on the head about, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe it. You sold this or that. Don't feed into that, right? That's their baggage. That's on them. If they want to roll around in the mistake, that's on them. But allow yourself the grace, allow yourself the space. You heard the situation, you'll do better next time, whatever that is, but you don't have to be held captive to that one thing. right? Okay, so that's all I because sometimes we can forgive ourselves, and some bully, some this, some that, some manager comes and reminds us of the mistake that we made last week. And so don't live in it. Don't live in the mistake.
That's it. That's it.
Right. So we'll see you next Monday at noon, and keep securing your seat. Again, happy Black History Month. We have a great month for you here. So share this episode with someone and connect with Dr. Angela, Mike, and myself here on LinkedIn. Have a great week.